Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, I started the clip. We can just keep it casual, like we said. So, thanks for having us. Your beautiful office. We're happy to be here.
Yeah.
It's great. Could we just start with a little background on, who you are, how you got here, your time at McDonogh, whatever. Just a little background.
Yeah. So Garnett Veney, class of 2009. So I started at McDonogh in 4th grade in 2000. So did lower, middle, and high school there. Went to Howard University after, was a finance major, in the School of Business Honors program. Took a traditional finance job after I went into investment banking at SunTrust Robinson Humphrey in Atlanta, so I didn't go to New York. Did the banking thing, helped companies raise money, figured out what I was in a real estate focused group, figured I wanted a little more exposure to actual real estate, so then went to brokerage. So I used to sell office, retail, and land throughout the office buildings, retail, shopping centers, malls, and land throughout the Southeast. Worked a ton, 100-hour weeks. Needed some sleep, so I went to business school and got my MBA at Columbia, and that's what brought me to New York.
Got it.
So then after Columbia, I stayed in New York because I'm in a small firm called Castle Hill Investors. We're a small real estate private equity firm, buying stuff all over the country, mostly focused on doing a lot of self-storage development, buying mobile home parks, and we developed a student housing deal on the West Coast too.
So that's similar to what JP did, right? Didn't he do a couple years in finance and then back to?
He did investment banking. We went to business school together. So
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was a year ahead of me at McDonogh, and then I was a year ahead of him at business school.
Did you guys plan that up?
I mean, no, but we've been communicating about the school and interests at different times, and I just kind of pulled the trigger a little bit earlier than he pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
I sort of stayed more in traditional finance and just kind of did what would have been the next step to what I was already doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I needed that break. I think he pivoted a little more than I did.
Was there value in not going right into business school?
A good school's not even going to want you straight out of college.
Really?
Yeah. So business school is different than like a lot of other master's programs. So typically they want you to have, now it's getting a little bit younger just because, and a little bit less experience just because I guess recruiting probably is a little down than it was 5 years ago when I started. But traditionally you need to have work experience. So 2 to 5 years on average. I'd been out of undergrad for 4 years. I was 26. And I was younger than the average. The average person was 28 in my class.
Got it. And what particular skills did you learn, between college and Columbia?
Particular skills, time management. When you're working that much and not sleeping, you really need to know how to manage your time.
How little is the sleep?
A lot of nights I had, independent, right? On my first job, I kind of was home by 7:30, so it wasn't too bad. The next job, I'd go in at 9, leave on average between 10 and midnight.
Wow.
But then I had periods of time where there would be 2.5 months straight of me leaving at a 4 a.m. I'd have a 9 a.m. to 4 a.m.
Holy.
And then I'd follow that up with a 9:30 a.m. to 6 a.m.
Wow.
Chance.
That's crazy.
So there were those kind of times. So time management, a lot of analytical, technical skills, Excel modeling, presentation skills, and just learning how the financial world works. Like what's a good investment, what's a bad investment, how to value companies and properties.
Yeah.
Got it.
Let me backtrack a little bit. How do you think McDonogh prepared you for college and the world beyond? Did they do a good job, bad job? What do you think?
No, I think it did a great job, honestly. I mean, the thing is, when I got to college, one thing I kind of realized is a lot of people spend time playing catch up. And even now, I have other friends that went to other independent schools around the country and, in the Bay Area or near Denver or New York or anything else. And everybody's doing something most people are doing things that are pretty successful and pretty cool that aren't normal jobs. But what I realized talking to some of them is all of us went to independent schools because a lot of people, a lot of public school kids get lucky, but you're sort of playing catch up. They don't necessarily have the same network. For me, just being a McDonogh alum, I got my first internship as a freshman in college, just reaching out to a McDonogh parent at a football game.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Football game.
I just went back to a McDonogh football game and walked up to a parent and said, "Hey, look, I just knew he was in business. I didn't know what he did at the time. I said, I don't know what you do, but I want to work for you.
Yeah.
Got an internship that kind of set me up to just have a lot of exposure on my resume early.
Yeah, and on that sort of like transition from McDonogh to college, like who were you personally at McDonogh and who were you personally in college, and that changed with the same?
Wow, that's a deep philosophical question. Taking me back 13 years since I graduated, which is crazy. I think personally, I think as far as who I was at the core, the same person. If you're asking any of my friends now, I have a lot of people I keep in touch with from McDonogh. The difference is, I think, after, like, once I was an adult, I was a lot more outspoken.
Okay.
I think McDonogh, you're in high school, there's a lot of social pressures, you're trying to fit in, you're worried about what people think a little more than around like 18, 19, 20, a little bit more confidence comes, and you just kind of speak out and don't really care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's cool.
I think we're getting there. We're getting more confident.
I
You
guess,
guys were pretty bold and confident. You guys had professional emails. You reached out to alumni, went out,
oh yeah.
took the trip to New York, did the initiative.
I mean, the guy we just talked to, like, worked with Bill Clinton for 13 years.
Wow.
And I was just like, damn, is that basically talking about So, yeah, that's definitely a little nerve-wracking, but once you do it, it's completely fine and it's valuable. So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, have there been more instances of like reaching out to McDonogh alumni or like using that network for like developing yourself in your professional life outside of that internship?
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of been accidental. Okay, well, having that internship and that relationship with a parent, it led to me having a mentor, like a very hands-on mentor, like guiding me through every step of the way in business, even still now, right? This is much senior to me. Aside from that, we've also kind of reached back, so like every few years, then I end up mentoring somebody, and then he ended up mentoring somebody, and he ended up mentoring someone. So then we just kind of have like a pipeline of guys that kind of help get into finance at different stages. So
Cool.
It's kind of, even right now, like I have a mentee in you guys' class now. so like, I just had lunch with Miles Johnson recently. So
Oh! Wait, man. Like here?
no, it was in Baltimore a few weeks back.
So we're all RLs with him.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna ask, cause he's going to Howard. Or he's going to,
He's going
Hampton. He's going to my rival school.
yeah, he's going to grad school. We love Miles. He's the
Yeah,
best.
he's a great guy.
Great athlete. He just won the championship. Did he tell you about that?
No, I didn't know.
It must have been after. They just won the lacrosse championship. And he's like a really good player.
Oh, so this was like before the championships happened.
I mean, he would have talked about it.
Probably.
Yeah, it was before the championships happened.
Probably.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, he's such a good guy.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Yeah. So, and aside from that, just in my own personal career, I guess it's just been different times and instances, right? Like a while ago, one time I didn't end up taking the job or anything, but a few years back I was on the job hunt, and one of my mentors from the McDonogh affiliation, reached out to a friend of his who happened to be a McDonogh alum and a McDonogh parent. Then he put me in touch with his classmate, and then and they were several decades ahead of me. So, it was just, people were always willing to talk and help out.
That's super cool.
Yeah. I was gonna ask, looking towards the future, like professionally, personally, maybe 5, 10, 15 years even, do you have any like goals you set for yourself or aspirations where you want to be maybe professionally?
Yeah. I think the thing is, a lot of us, right, we're kind of initiative takers in high achievement, right? McDonogh said their motto, that kind of might annoy you at the time on those days, but it kind of sticks in it, be the best at whatever you are, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, for me, I've always sort of stayed on the path of what I wanted to do. So, like in college, I eventually figured out I want to do finance, I want to go into investment banking because it'll open a lot of doors for other things. Once you just have that stamp, people will think you're capable. So then once I got into banking, I saw real estate. I said, okay, I want to go to the buy side, do investment, and be an owner. Then I said, eventually I want to do my own thing and run my own business.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went to business school, instead of going to a bigger private equity firm after, I came to a 2-person company. So it's myself and a senior partner that's basically twice my age.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm learning everything from start to finish, so that I can't say necessarily 5, but within that 10 to 15 year time frame, I would kind of just be wanting to run my own real estate business and do a lot of development and existing purchases, acquisitions.
That's awesome.
It's cool.
That's really great.
So you mentioned how you went to Atlanta and not New York. Was that like a decision you had to make to go to like not like a, I don't know, like a mothership city?
So I had a lot of things going on in college at the time. I was I didn't have a preference at first. When I had different internships, and I was busy like pledging fraternity, just doing a lot. And I had been interviewing, but I got an offer really quickly for an investment bank in Atlanta. So I interned there summer between my junior and senior year, and I realized I kind of liked the city. Then they gave me an offer to come back, and when I looked at what I'd be doing in New York versus what I'd be doing there was the same I had the same economic package as a New York person in a much lower cost of living city at that time. So for me, it was sort of a no-brainer at that point.
Got it.
So then was Columbia, I guess, business school the switch from Atlanta to New York?
Yeah.
What made you stay?
Yeah.
So then, I guess why stay in New York now? Just because it's more of a hub, or?
Well, I originally kind of wanted to get back to between Baltimore and DC eventually, but I've been doing freelance work when I was at Columbia. Like I was buying, fixing, and flipping houses in Baltimore. I was a student here, not working anymore. I had mortgages and things over my head, so I've been doing freelance work. So I've been working for different private equity firms. I did freelance work for the company I'm at now, technically, and I got an offer that was just too good to pass up. It was just kind of letting me do what I wanted to do and have that entrepreneurial runway. So I stayed in New York for this opportunity, and we're actually relocating, moving to Miami in about 3 months.
Cool.
Really?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
That's awesome. What makes people in your business, or at least you, like special or differentiated from each other?
Self-motivation and just being able to do the work.
How do you get that self-motivation? Like what lights that fire for you?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like, McDonogh breeds people they have goals and want to go chase them. It's just, eventually you're just doing something, and there's that, I'm not saying I don't sit and actively think about this, but just looking back, talking to you guys that be the best of whatever you are, it kind of sits in a way, right? Like, when you're doing something, you don't want people advancing a lot faster. You don't want to be
very
left
competitive.
behind.
Yeah, no, that's totally relatable. And people have been saying the same thing. People are always like, I asked that question, and people sort of did the same thing as you, like, think, and they're like, I don't actively think about it, but like, I'm from McDonogh, I want to be great at what I do, and like, just improve and like reach stuff, like reach goals and stuff like that. So it's really cool that we're all like that.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, it would just kind of be weird when you see people keep moving forward and faster. I mean, everybody has a different timeline. I mean, some people start doing what they want, figuring out what they want to do at 26, 27, 30, whatever, or some people figure it out later. But at the end of the day, there's just like not getting complete. I don't think any of us are able to just get complacent.
Right. I totally agree.
I'm wondering, I think the goal for you sounds like to have like the autonomy in your job and your profession, and it seems like you're really close to being able to do that. And I wonder if do you have any like advice for somebody who has the same goal as me, but maybe younger than you, on what they should do, what path they should take, sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it just kind of comes down to what they want to do. And there's time, right? Like, all right, you guys are in high school, you're going to college, you're going to try different things, you're going to figure stuff out, and even then, even after college, you're still figuring those things out, right? I mean, through life, we're always learning. But the big thing for me is just always like finding older people to reach out to and learn from them, because it's not, people start new tech companies, they do something that's new and advanced or whatever, but at the end of the day, none of us are doing anything that hasn't been done. So just learning from different people's experiences or getting those perspectives just kind of leads you the right way.
Right.
That's good advice.
With your goals, like how much does like personal or like family stuff like or not line, but like compete on the scale with like work stuff? Like, would you make decisions like in the future thinking about family or personal, or is professional always like 100 and 0?
It's a different stage of life, right? So for me, I guess I'm 30, I'll be 31. I don't have a wife and kids yet. Mm-hmm. So, I have my existing family, and luckily everybody's healthy. So there's nothing that's just driving me away from the career and the chase and the goals. Now, there is a point in time when I'll have a family of my own, God willing, hopefully, wife and kids. And at that point, I can't necessarily say I'm going to put the career 110% over my children.
Right.
So that's why for me it was like work really hard early and try to set yourself up.
While we're here and then.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
That's cool. JP, and you mentioned that you're in a fraternity.
Yeah.
I'm a little nervous about the time, like commitments and how to manage that. So.
I mean, it's also just good to have an additional social network too, just like McDonogh, right? Like,
Yeah.
it just kind of, you know, it gives you those people that are older, younger, whatever, like to reach back to help out, and people that you help. So.
Also, are fraternities like especially important for like finance type jobs or?
I wouldn't say. I don't know. I mean, I feel like my fraternity wouldn't have been like. Well, it's helped me for sure, but I don't think it's traditional finance because I'm in a black fraternity, so it's not like it's not like everybody's a part of it.
Yeah.
Got it. Got it. Have you stayed in touch with your fraternity guys just as much as the McDonogh people, or like more?
Yeah, all the time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, different eras, different ages. I mean, there's times when I'll text like 50-year-old guys like, "Hey, I'm in Atlanta, bro. You trying to get for drinks?"
Yeah.
Or like 20-year-old, 22.
Right. Right.
Do you like New York?
I like what New York has I like the access New York gives. So that's the other side. Now, going to Atlanta first living in New York, I think that was a bad transition to make because, like, if I'd have just come to New York out of undergrad, I wouldn't have experienced more comfort. Being in Atlanta first,
Yeah.
I had a garden-style apartment. I had, you know, trees, neighbors, a
Right.
big space, a pool, like a lot of amenities.
Yeah.
I drove everywhere. So then coming to New York and being sort of in a box and having to take the train, I mean, it's just
Whole different story.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
That's a good point though. Like, I guess the comfort level of New York is lower, but it offers like so much professionally and
Yeah.
like socially too. Like, is it fun socially? Would you say?
Yeah, it's fun socially. There's a lot to do. It's just the fact that once you make that change, you already kind of have it. It's a circle a little bit. You just adjust.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Got it. Yeah. And New York's really fun. I also like LA. That's a whole different story. I guess.
Yeah, that's a good time too.
Did you ever consider staying in Baltimore or no?
Yeah, I would actually go. I wouldn't mind going back. I mean, I've thought about it a lot. It's just I'm getting the experiences that I need right now for my job, for my career. So
Yeah.
at that point, once I feel that it's the right time, I would definitely go back.
I guess we don't have like a ton of time left on the recording if it stops at 40 minutes. But like before we like, you know, close the video, like do you have any like final pieces of advice for us or for the graduating class of this year and the next, just to like leave with the video?
I wish I really thought about that beforehand too. I could have actually done that just so well. But I would say just in general, you know, like just enjoy the journey, enjoy life. You know, you're gonna be successful. You're gonna figure out what you want to do. Don't stress about not knowing what exactly you want to do at 25 when you're 18, right?
Okay.
But just work hard, enjoy the journey, figure it out, talk to as many people as you can, get as much perspective as you can, and things will tend to work themselves out.
Got it.
Awesome.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
That was
Thank
great.
you very much.
Yeah, it was awesome.
All right.